Welcome to the Tool Review channel. Today we're taking a look at the Klein Tools D2000-9NE Heavy Duty Linesman Pliers. Now these can cut through ACSR, screws, nails, and most hardened wire, unlike their standard linesman pliers, which can only cut through copper and I believe aluminum wire. So these you're going to be able to cut through some other types of wire without having to worry about damaging the cutting edge, and you should be able to cut some screws with the cutting edge as well without it being damaged. We're going to test that in this video. So to start off the review here, you can see you have the Klein Tools name and logo laser etched onto the pliers, which is nice. And you got the established 1857, and I believe the H1 is the manufacturing code. I could be wrong, but I think that's the manufacturing code. And then you can see your D2000-9NE right there, and then you have the Made in the USA right there. And you have some safety warnings right here on the side of the tool, which is nice. As you can see, this is your blue dipped handles. Now, if you don't want the dipped handles, you can get these also in the Journeyman series, which I did do a review of them on my channel as well, where they have the comfort grip style of handles. And then coming to the back side of the pliers, you have your little square opening right here. You can see your rivet right there as well. Now, this is a high leverage pair of linesman pliers, so the rivet is closer to the cutting edge, so it should, in theory, make it so you don't have to use as much force to cut through whatever wire you're trying to cut through. And then you can see on the nose of the plier you have a decent cross-hatching design, and that is going to help when you have to twist wire or maybe pull on some wire. It's going to allow you to get a nice grip on whatever you're needing to grip and not let go. But that is about it for the detail on this tool. So we'll zoom out here and we'll get to some of the functionality of this tool. So as you can see, you hold the plier by one of the handles, and they do like to open up, which is nice. These definitely need to be broken in a little bit more to loosen them up just a little bit more. But it is nice that this is how they came out of the packaging, which is nice. All I did was add just a tad bit of oil, like I like to do with all the pliers I get. So without going too much into that, let's bring in some wire and get to some testing here and see how well we can cut through some wire. So this is 14 gauge stranded wire right here, and as you can see, cuts through the 14 gauge stranded wire, no problem whatsoever. So we'll go ahead and put that off to the side, and we'll bring in some 12 gauge stranded wire right here. We'll go ahead and give that a few cuts, and as you can see, it has no problem whatsoever going through this 12 gauge stranded wire whatsoever, which is nice. So we'll put that off to the side and bring in some 10 gauge stranded wire right here and see how well we can cut through this. And as you can see, it has no problem whatsoever cutting through this 10 gauge stranded wire. So we'll go ahead and put that off to the side, and we'll bring in some 18.5 thermostat wire. And as you can see right here, it did leave a little bit of that inside insulation. It wasn't able to cut through it all the way, but it does cut through all the wires on the inside, no problem. It's just that insulation. The knives on here seem to not be able to cut through it all the way. As you can see, I just pulled the rest of it out, so we shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. And then as you can see, it has no problem cutting through the actual wire itself. I think this insulation just is a little too thin, and just kind of slips through the blade of the, or slips through the knife of the pliers. As you can see, there is a tiny little bit of a gap right there, so I think it's what it's slipping through. But that's not really a big deal. That insulation is just in there to protect the wires. So now we're going to bring in some 14-2 with ground Romex wire and see how well these can cut through that. And as you can see right there, they cut through this Romex wire, no problem whatsoever. So that is nice, and you can tell there's no snapping action, which is nice. They actually have they designed their handles to absorb that snapping action, so you don't feel it in your hands. But now we're going to bring in some 12-2 with ground Romex. You probably are going to hear a snap with this one, but you shouldn't really feel it that much in your hand. As you can see right there, you did hear some snapping action right there, but you barely feel it in your hands, which is super nice. So we'll go ahead and get that out of there, and we'll get all this scrap wire out of the frame, and we're going to bring back in our 12 gauge stranded wire, and we're going to see how sharp these knives are and see if we can strip this wire, strip the insulation off the wire with these pliers. And as you can see right there, if I'm trying to pull this off without shaking the camera, a little bit challenging here. But as you can see, pulled off that outer insulation, no problem. We should be able to pull off the insulation on this wire. Take it out of the frame real quick. But as you can see, you are able to pull off the outer insulation. Sorry I didn't have it in frame. I don't want to shake the camera. But you are able to strip some 12 gauge wire with that. And as you can see, the cross hatching does bite into that insulation and pull it off the wire. Now we'll bring in some 10 gauge wire and see how well we can pull off this insulation. So spin the wire around a few times and you should be able to, bumped into something there, pull it off the wire insulation, no problem. So if you needed to use these to strip some wire, you definitely could use them to strip some wire. But now we're going to bring in, like I said, we're going to test to see how well we can cut through a screw. So right here we have just a chopped up, I believe this is a 632 screw, and we're going to see how well we can cut through this. As you can see, it has no problem whatsoever cutting through a 632 screw right there. So now we are going to bring in an 832 screw and see how well we can cut through this guy. And as you can see, it's definitely going to be a little bit more challenging here. Oh, sorry about the camera shake right there. But it did cut through this screw, no problem. And now we're going to bring back in that 10 gauge wire and see if there's any damage done to that cutting edge. And as you can see, no damage done to the cutting edge whatsoever. You are able to still be able to cut that 10 gauge stranded wire. And we'll bring in the 12 gauge stranded wire. And as you can see right there, there's absolutely no damage done to the cutting edge whatsoever. So these pliers definitely are able to cut, like I said, cut some nails and cut through any wire that you have to throw at it. But like I said, it's able to cut through most hardened wire. Now don't go try cutting piano wire with these, because I'm sure you're going to damage the cutting edge on them. That's not what they're designed for. But you know, your standard hardened wires and stuff, these can cut through, and if you have a screw or a nail you need to cut that's in your way, these are going to be able to get through that no problem. So overall, these are definitely a nice pair of Linemans pliers from Klein. Now I'm not sure if you're going to be able to find these in the store. I know by me, you're not able to find the dipped version in the store, but you are able to find the comfort grip version, and you're able to find the version with the crimper with the yellow handles. I'm not sure on the model number, but I did review that pair on my channel a few months ago. If you want to go check that out. I know you can find those two in the store. I'm not sure if you could find just the standard dipped handle in the store at your local Home Depot. So you might want to go online and check if you're wanting to head down there and pick yourself up a pair of these. You might want to just check Home Depot's website. I will leave a link to Klein's website in the description below if you'd like to pick yourself up a pair of these. The link will take you right over to Klein's website, right over to this product page, and you can view some more information about this tool. And you can find a local retailer that might have it other than Home Depot, or you can just order it from one of Klein's online retailers, or one of Klein's authorized online retailers if you want to pick these up. So overall, these are definitely a nice pair of Linemans pliers, and they're going to be able to get the job done and should last for quite some time. So that's all I have for this review. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And if you are new to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up as well. That'll help out the channel and be greatly appreciated. But that's all I have for this video, so thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video to be uploaded.